What is going on, guys? It is Maddie from DCLblogger.com, and finally I can make a video. I've been waiting to make a video for like 3 weeks now, and so much has happened, but I've been traveling in Turkey for the last 3 weeks, so I haven't been able to really find the internet or time to kind of make a video. So here I am at the tail end of my holiday with a few days to spare. So I'll make a quick video about the market analysis, whether or not it's a good idea to invest now. If you are investing now, what to look out for, what the hell is going on with the marketplace. There has been a lot of changes for new investors that are approaching or checking online right now to see when and what they should get in with. You have to watch this video because you have to understand the history of Decentraland to understand whether or not it's a good time to invest now and what to invest in at the moment. So for the new investors, first of all, if you don't know, a lot of this land that has light grey on it, so everything apart from this dark grey has been sold off initially during the first auction, which took place in I think December last year, and I wasn't part of that auction. In fact, I got in just after the auction ended. I was like, crap, I just found out about this project. It was amazing. So I had to buy my parcels off people that had already owned it, and at that time parcels, people were happy to sell their parcels for about 3,000 to 5,000 mana. I could pick them up for all around the map, right? Because people didn't know the value of parcels that are connected to roads, that are in the middle of nowhere, that are connected to districts. Like, people didn't know the value of the marketplace because this marketplace did not exist, and the only way to sell or trade lands was to literally message people on Discord or Telegram or Reddit, agree to a deal, and then do a manual swap. So I had to send them mana and trust them completely that they were going to send me that land back. And I completed about 50 to 100 trades that way, and many people traded that way, and then the marketplace was released and people were able to list their land for sale, and then eventually everyone viewing this marketplace and this map were eventually able to see what things were worth, because over time non-fungible and Decentrastats, which doesn't exist anymore, tracked all the sales happening. So people could list it at whatever price they wanted, but obviously listing parcels at 500,000 to a million mana in the middle of nowhere doesn't necessarily mean that it will sell. So non-fungible tracked the parcels that actually sold, and over time of following this over months and months and almost a year, people got an idea of what parcels were worth where and why. And right now, like over the last few weeks, land value in terms of mana relative to mana has doubled pretty much. I mean, the bottom, if you had kind of come in a few weeks before, then the cheapest parcel you would have found would have been like 6,000 to 7,000 mana. But then Nessie the whale, as he has been termed, has come in. Oh, I'm lagging big time. Nessie the whale has come in and literally dumped like a few million mana, I think a few million mana into land. And he's kind of increased the bottom floor to 18,000 mana or something we're sitting at now. Pretty ridiculous. Like, it's hard to imagine that the cheapest land on page 1 is close to 20,000 mana. It's ridiculous. So for people like me who like to flip land, and we really need to understand the market and need to know what's a good deal. It's a bit confusing at the moment, and it probably is for a lot of new investors as well. So I'm just going to go through a quick market analysis and what's been going on and where you should be investing in, what the hotspots are in the future, and just like the market evaluation currently, right? So I kind of categorized lands in a few different categories. Now, all the lands I'm going to talk about are placed outside of the -50 to 50 coordinates, okay? So these 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4, to me and many others, they're kind of considered the central kind of areas, the city area, right? Where people, like, if you get land in these 4 districts, generally speaking, as compared to everything else, it's going to be a bit more expensive. Lands here connected to single roads will sell for from 30 to 50,000 mana. I've got a 4-plot estate over here, like this land over here. I would not let that go for anything less than 70,000 mana. Alright, and obviously the closer to the central plaza, anything connected to the central plaza, you're gonna probably pick it up no less than 500,000 mana. There has been some sales under a few 100,000 mana during the early days, but currently at the moment, I doubt there'd be any chance to get any parcel connected to this plaza, which is the most central plaza where people are expected to spawn from. You'll be lucky to get anything under 500,000 mana. So I'm going to avoid going through these four quadrants because prices are expensive and it's not where the common new investor or common investors are going to invest in. But if you are, just know that you're going to be paying a premium price the closer you get to this Genesis Plaza. Anything connected to these single roads, say about here to here, like you'd be paying from 50 to probably between 40 to 70,000 mana for any parcel connected to these single roads. Parcels connected to these double roads, you're going to be expected to pay somewhere between 50 to 400,000 mana. I'm listing these ones at 150. I think this one's listed at 150 as well. The closer you get, it's going to get more and more expensive, guys. So what's this one? 500,000 mana. These double roads are expected to have a ton of traffic, right? So you're not going to expect it to get much less. But anyway, outside of that, I categorize lands in a few different categories. And one is lands connected to single roads. So lands connected to single roads. There's some kind of pockets of single roads. There's a pocket over here. Maybe I'll move me down here. There's a pocket of single roads, over here. Again, the same rule applies, right? The closer you get to the center, the more they're going to be valued at. And the closer they are to these green spots, these are Genesis Plazas expected to have some community activity, or like developers are going to build community games and things in there. So things connected that are close to these Genesis Plazas are generally going to sell for a little bit more, like something like this, where it's the end of a T close to Genesis Plaza. I doubt you'll get 150,000, but something like that would probably sell for something between 30 to 50,000 mana in this market right now, which is super high, whatever's going on right now. Lands connected to Genesis Plazas, again, pretty high. So the categories are, like I said, single road parcels, all right? So lands connected to single roads. Like for example, this parcel over here, that's actually connected to there's two sides of road around that parcel. So generally speaking, that's going to be a little bit more expensive to those connected to single roads. But the cheapest single road parcel, I think at the moment, is going for about 20,000 mana. And a few weeks ago, 11,000 mana, you could probably pick one up for. And now it's kind of double that, right? And that's what's happening with the market. Also, lands that are close to districts. So lands that are in the middle of here. So something like, a land over there or a land over here, because it's close to districts. Mind you, I think it's going to be difficult to traverse this land unless you can kind of fly above all the land. And I think that might be a possibility. And if so, roads aren't really going to matter that much. Maybe, I doubt if you can fly, I doubt people are going to be walking along the roadsides, right? But roads currently seem to guarantee visibility if the other option of flying isn't allowed. But it seems like flying is going to be a thing. So, no matter where you get your parcel, you're probably going to get some visibility. But those connected to close to districts, I've seen go for quite a lot nowadays, right? They've been going for between 50 to 30,000 mana for those in the middle of a few districts, as opposed to a few weeks ago when they used to go from somewhere between 7 to 12,000 mana. Like you'd be lucky to get something as a seller. You'd be lucky to get 12, 13,000 mana for your parcel in the midst of all these districts. But right now, you can probably sell it for about 20,000 mana. And the third category are those that are in the middle of kind of nowhere, so really far away from anything. Even at the far edges, over here, like parcels over here aren't really worth that much because people don't really know, again, about visibility. But like I said, the cheapest parcel is about 19,000 mana right now. So if you want to get anything over here, you could probably expect 18 to 20,000 mana you'd be paying at the very cheapest end. And at the end of the day, guys, it's it's scarcity that governs the price of any land. The rarer a land is, the more expensive it's going to be. for example, a really good example I use is these lands in the corners, right? There's only 2 of these lands in the whole of Decentraland. Look at this. This bad boy here, -50, -50, okay? Sold for 177,000 mana during auction. So while the others around it sold for only 1,000 mana, because this one was right at the corner, and there's only another parcel like that, or somewhat like that, and there's also this one over here that sold for a similar price as well, 122,000 mana. Because there's only 2 parcels of that kind. There's one in this corner and there's one in this corner. There's no corner parcel here because it's covered by Vegas district. There's no parcel over here because it's covered by Ethereum. So because of just the only fact that there's 2 types of that, you know, it's valued at that much. And again, this is a really hot spot over here. Like lands here will probably sell for about 30,000 mana, even if it's not connected to any single roads. I sold an estate of 20 lands over here for 1 million mana total. It was ridiculous. It was 50,000 mana a parcel. Yeah, it's like if you can find something in there, it's quite ridiculous. Like there's some hot spots, right? And again, like those connected to Vegas, like anything connected to anything over here. Those connected to Ethereum, again, another really big project, a lot of promise in that project. Those connected to this double road over here. Why is there so much lag? Oh, I'm freezing. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. Now, as investors, like what should we be doing right now? First of all, there's some market conditions that have obviously drastically changed as of late. There has been a monster investor, or I would say the monster investor or the large scale investor, also known as Nessie. I've been following his wallet, and a lot of people have been following his wallet on Etherscan, right? We can see what's been going on, and you can see he keeps topping up his wallet with more mana tokens. So these are Decentraland / mana tokens, and he keeps topping them up. Like every day, he probably has like 300,000 to 500,000 mana to his stack of, God, what's it up to now? There's a drop down where I can see his total amount of mana. I think he's got like 12 to 13 million mana at the moment. Wait, can I see the bottom? Probably not. Anyway, but you can see like every day he'll add like anything with in it means that he's sent it from his Bittrex to his account, right? So his wallet, so he's added 360 there. That was 4 days ago. 3 days ago, he's added another 6, 7, what's that, 1.2 million he's added a few days ago. So it seems to me that he keeps buying the bottom. And that's what a lot of large-scale investors do, because they have so much freaking money. They can affect markets just as the way you are seeing right now. They can create FOMO, and that's why sometimes you see a sudden spike in volume and price in some of the bigger coins, like even Bitcoin, right? Neo, Bitcoin, Binance, like they're all susceptible to really big investors. The smaller your market cap, the more susceptible you are to like market pumps. But I doubt this guy's pumping and dumping, because at the end of the day, like you can't dump land, and you're not going to benefit anything by dumping your land, because it's not as liquid as mana. But in terms of accumulating, and this is a strategy a lot of people use, is they kind of select a bottom price, and at this stage, like 6 to 8 cents is the bottom. And at 6 to 8 cents, he keeps buying the bottom, and as more people keep selling to him, he keeps accumulating all of this mana, and eventually people are going to stop selling it that cheap, because there's going to be a time where no one's happy to sell it at 6 to 8 cents. All the people that were happy to sell it at that price, he has that mana now, and eventually the only movement the market has that is left is the way up. And he's going to benefit from that, because there's going to be so little kind of push downwards. It's just going to be like people ready to buy because no one's ready to sell at the prices that low. So he seems to be accumulating. Now, how that is going to relate to land prices is, I've noticed this a few times, but the higher mana goes, and if it starts to hit certain limits like 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, there's been times where mana has pumped ridiculously high. Like in the last 4 to 6 months, mana has gone, pumped over 30 to 40 cents in the space of a couple of days, and it's come back down to about 20 cents, then 15 cents, and settled back down to about 10 cents. So during those pumps, I notice a lot of people are a lot more keen and happy to sell their land for cheaper prices. So, for example, as mana is now sitting at 8 cents, people may be happy to sell their land for 20,000 mana, but as it suddenly increases, like if mana increases from 10 cents, from 8 cents to say 30 cents, then that same person that used to be wanting to sell it for 20,000 mana might now sell it for 10,000 mana, because in terms of fiat, it's worth a lot more. So my kind of hesitance, as you can say, or maybe like risk or caution, is because there's accumulation happening by whales, or there's a lot of FOMO going on in the market, and people are buying either a lot of mana and holding on to it, or land and holding on to that. Especially mana, right? As the mana pumps, then I feel like the land prices are going to come down relative to mana. Because at the end of the day, guys, if mana is worth, hypothetically, like, let me write it down right now, right? If mana is worth, so right now it's worth 0.8 cents, right? And at 0.8 cents, say the cheapest parcel is 20,000 mana, then that is currently worth what? 20,000 times 0.08, 1,600 fiat, okay? 1,600 fiat. Okay, 0.8 cents, 20,000 mana. Now, if hypothetically mana soars up to say $3, and that same person, if he sells it for 20,000 mana, then he can sell it for $60,000, right? And that's only if there's someone willing to pay that $60,000. And we all know that that's a lot of money to pay for a 10 by 10 meter parcel. Virtual land, right? That's a lot of money to pay. And there's not going to be that many investors that can afford that much. So if this person needs to cash out, then he needs to price it lower. And as people price it lower, there's going to be people that also want to cash out that keep underpricing it under the person next to them, and it's going to have like this ladder effect where people are going to keep pushing the price down, and that's going to happen. I confidently believe that's going to happen if mana soars a bit too high. So for example, if it goes to $1, then people might be happy to sell it for say 8,000 mana, because their $1,600 in fiat is now worth $8,000. And if you in the real world need to buy a car, then you're going to be like, oh, out of my 20 lands, maybe I'll just sell a land. And you might sell that land for 8,000 mana, you'd be happy with that, and you get $8,000 for it, you buy your car, but that land has gone down from 20,000 mana to 8,000 mana. So I'm scared that, especially when there's whales involved, and maybe the market seems like it might recover, it might go down. It's a very critical stage at the moment. If it goes up a bit too high, we might see a dump in land in terms of mana prices. If it stays at its current price at 8 cents or continues to go lower, then we're definitely going to see a continual rise in land prices in terms of mana. So I've kind of diversified, and I've got about 2 million mana currently from selling my land, and a good 25 lands scattered all over the map, which isn't too bad of an idea. So I've kind of diversified a little bit. Ideally, I'd like to sell all my land to mana, because eventually when land does pump, or mana pumps, then I have a lot of, I can cash out. One, I can cash out, and two, if there's an auction for, the unowned parcels of land, so these ones, there's an auction release, then I'll have a lot of mana to spend on that auction. So in terms of people like me or new investors that want to invest, at the end of the day, nothing is right or wrong, because this market's very speculative and it moves very fast, and no one can predict the future. It's just that you got to be cautious of the factors at play and make a decision in terms of that. What I can say with a lot of confidence is that in terms or relative to fiat value, relative to USD fiat value or any currency in terms of fiat, land prices have been on the continual rise, guys. They've been on the continual rise. So whether or not the the mana price, the mana token price goes up 10, 20, 30 cents, no one usually takes much of a hit in terms of US dollars. So like at the end of the day, like if I keep going down, right, if we go to say page 5, might even have to go a bit lower. on that. You can see there were some lands that sold for under $1,000 as opposed to before when they were all above $1,000, and your lands are selling for 10,000 mana, so under that many land US dollars. Let me see if I can go really far back, the pre-Nessie days, when land weren't selling for that much, where you had some land selling for, okay, they're a bit cheaper, some $500, right? So 8,800 mana. If you keep going down, like you'll see there has been, it's been on a gradual increase. So now it's $450. So yes, there's been like a little bit variance, so a little bit ups and downs, but it's at the end of the day, it's been on a gradual increase in terms of fiat value. So as an investor that wants to grow their portfolio, whether it's in terms of crypto, whether it's in terms of fiat, diversification, or investing in either mana or land, and I've made a blog post about this, how investing in land protects me from Bitcoin downswings, right? Even if Bitcoin plummets and mana takes the hit as well, because when BTC goes down, altcoins take a hit anyway. When that happens, at least we know that people now that with mana, if mana goes down to like 2 to 3 cents a coin, then at least people will up their land prices to 30, 40,000 mana, because now people can buy a lot more mana for their fiat. So it kind of keeps land prices at the very least stable, if not continue to grow in terms of fiat value. So I keep kind of hedge my crypto portfolio by betting on land or investing in land. I'm losing my voice. Alright guys, a lot to cover, like I said. I can't cover it all in this video, just some few comments and remarks on what the hell's going on with the marketplace. There's been so many buys and sells that I've taken advantage of, and other people have taken advantage of. I think estates, like I've mentioned in almost every video for the last 2 months, have been a big deal, and they're going to continue to be a big deal because there is 30,000 plus single land parcels, but there are not many estates in the world. The supply of estates in Decentraland are a lot less, and with every estate bought, there's one less estate in the world, in the Decentraland world, right? So if you're a holder of an estate that's probably more than 10 parcels, like I've got some small estates. A lot of my bigger estates I've sold already. Well, like this little small one here, 5 by 5. I've listed it for 35,000 mana each. Probably sell it for 25,000 mana each, only because it's bundled up as an estate, somewhat close to Genesis Plaza. But anything that is, once the feature becomes live where you can buy and sell estates, then what's going to be more appealing? This big block over here or this small pixel over here. If you can, buy this for theoretically like 500,000 mana, or you can buy this little one for 20,000 mana, which one would you rather have, right? This bigger one. So you might not have the money to do that, but for bigger investors, they're going to go after these estates. And with every estate that gets broken up and split into pieces, because maybe people want to sell them individually, there's one less estate in the market. So I think there's going to be so much money in these estates. It's just a matter of not overbuying and not spending a bit too much for your estates. But if you have one, if you have a few, then man, price it whatever you want, because if someone wants that and they have the money, then you might sell that for a ton of money. But price it reasonably. Like at the end of the day, if you're selling this estate for 100 million mana, no one's really going to have the money to even buy that for 100 million mana. So if you are serious about selling, then look at the prices around you, and maybe single parcels around this might be worth like 20,000 mana, but you might have 100 here, so you can price them at maybe 35,000 mana each because they're bundled up as an estate. Anyway, when that feature comes out, we will know more about that. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the market, guys. Keep in Discord, participate in the chats. If you're new investors, keep checking this out, because you want a good work on the design, by the way, for Dan. He just like really improved everything. I was really missing this image thing, which allowed me to really easily see the land that was sold, and that's why I used to keep using Decentra stats, but Non-Fungible does it too now, so I'm a Non-Fungible fan again. But yeah, keep your eye on this, because you want to know what prices they are. And for new investors that want to jump in, you might be sitting there thinking like $1,300 is way too much for a land. And at this point in time, like, it might be a lot of mana, but it's all relative, guys. You have to remember, like, people can invest in Decentraland from all over the world, which means that it's a market available to literally millions, billions of people. So you cannot compare this with, say, a local real estate conditions, whether you live in Australia or whatever, because this is, as more people find out about this, more people are going to be willing to spend this much money, because you might find this really expensive, but for other people with millions of dollars, this is peanuts. And they would be happy to buy like 100 to 200 lands, because they'd be like, whoa, I can buy a virtual land with this much prospect for $1,000 each. I might just buy 100 of them. So you might think that this is way too much, and you might think that there's no way you're going to spend this, and you're going to wait till prices come down, and they might come down, but they might also go up. And at this stage, I feel like you cannot go wrong buying one or two of the cheap end of the parcels, especially with crypto collectible companies that have this much volume in it. Like, look at this, right? Last 30 days, $1.3 million has been spent buying digital land. Like, if that continues, that's probably close to like, I don't know, like $20 million, $15 to $20 million in buying digital land. And that's a lot for a crypto collectible. Like, I don't even think CryptoKitties is doing that much for the last 30 days. Let's see. CryptoKitties for the last 30 days has done $500,000. That's a lot of money. Definitely a lot of freaking money. But Decentraland has like doubled that, right? Like, what's that? $500,000 Decentraland has like doubled that. So crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, guys, if you're a new investor, I think you're just going to continue to see prices on the rise in terms of US dollars. Depending on how BTC goes, if you invest relative to BTC, Bitcoin, you might see prices decrease if BTC tanks and mana goes down with it. But like, it's just it's a bigger risk to stay out of the game than to stay in. So because I've just continuously seen this US dollar go up for the last 7 to 8 months continuously. Anyway, I think I'll stop there. It's been a long video. I'll make another one going through a few different topics. But yeah, just a bit of a market analysis and some thoughts shared on the market.